I. The disease called man. There is one word which, if we only understand it, is the key to Freud's thought. That word is repression. The whole edifice of psychoanalysis, Freud said, is based upon the theory of repression. Freud's entire life was devoted to the study of the phenomenon he called repression. The Freudian revolution is that radical revision of traditional theories of human nature and human society which becomes necessary if repression is recognized as a fact. In the new Freudian perspective, the essence of society is repression of the individual, and the essence of the individual is repression of himself. The best way to explore the notion of repression is to review the path which led Freud to his hypothesis. Freud's breakthrough was the discovery of meaningfulness in a set of phenomena theretofore regarded, at least in scientific circles, as meaningless. First, the mad symptoms of the mentally deranged. Second, dreams. And third, the various phenomena gathered together under the title of psychopathology of everyday life, including slips of the tongue, errors, and random thoughts. Now, in what sense does Freud find meaningfulness in neurotic symptoms, dreams, and errors? He means, of course, that these phenomena are determined and can be given a causal explanation. He is rigorously insisting on unequivocal allegiance to the principle of psychic determinism, but he means much more than that. For if it were possible to explain these phenomena on behavioristic principles, as the result of superficial associations of ideas, then they would have a cause but no meaning. Meaningfulness means expression of a purpose or an intention. The crux of Freud's discovery is that erotic symptoms, as well as the dreams and errors of everyday life, to have meaning, and that the meaning of meaning has to be radically revised because they have meaning. Since the purport of these purposive expressions is generally unknown to the person whose purpose they express, Freud is driven to embrace the paradox that there are no human being purposes of which he knows nothing, involuntary purposes, or, in more technical Freudian language, unconscious ideas. From this point of view, a new world of psychic reality is opened up, of whose inner nature we are every bit as ignorant as we are of the reality of the external world, and of which our ordinary conscious observation tells us no more than our sense organs are able to report to us of the external world. 3. Freud can thus define psychoanalysis as nothing more than the discovery of the unconscious in mental life. 4. But the Freudian revolution is not limited to the hypothesis of an unconscious psychic life in the human being in addition to his conscious life. The other crucial hypothesis is that some unconscious ideas in a human being are incapable of becoming conscious to him in the ordinary way, because they are strenuously disowned and resisted by the conscious self. From this point of view, Freud can say that the whole psychoanalytic theory is in fact built up on perception of the resistance exerted by the patient when we try to make him conscious of his unconscious. 5. The dynamic relation between the unconscious and the conscious life is one of conflict, and psychoanalysis is from top to bottom a science of mental conflict. The realm of the unconscious is established in the individual when he refuses to admit into his conscious life a purpose or desire which he has, and in doing so establishes in himself a psychic force opposed to his own idea. This rejection by the individual of a purpose or idea, which nevertheless remains his, is repression. The essence of repression lies simply in the function of rejecting or keeping something out of consciousness. 6. Stated in more general terms, the essence of repression lies in the refusal of a human being to recognize the realities of his human nature. The fact that the repressed purposes nevertheless remains is shown by dreams and neurotic symptoms, which represent an eruption of the unconscious into consciousness, producing not indeed a pure image of the unconscious, but a compromise between the two conflicting systems, and thus exhibiting the reality of the conflict. Thus the notion of the unconscious remains an enigma without a theory of repression, or, as Freud says, we obtain our theory of the unconscious from the theory of repression. 7. To put it another way, the unconscious is the dynamically unconscious repressed. 8. Repression is the key word in the whole system. The word is chosen to indicate a structure dynamically based on psychic conflict. Freud illustrates the nature of psychic repression by a series of metaphors and analogies drawn from the social phenomena of war, civil war, and police action. 9. From neurotic symptoms, dreams, and errors to a general theory of human nature may seem like a long step. Granting that it is a long step, Freud could argue that he is entitled to explore the widest possible application of a hypothesis derived from a narrow field. He could take the offensive and claim that traditional theories of human nature must be regarded as unsatisfactory because they have nothing to say about these peripheral phenomena. What theory of human nature, except Freud's, does have anything significant to say about dreams or insanity? And are dreams and insanity really negligible factors on the periphery of human life? But the truth of the matter is that Freud maintains that to go from neurotic symptoms, dreams, and errors, to a new theory of human nature in general involves no further step at all. For the evidence on which the hypothesis of the repressed unconscious is based entails the conclusion that it is a phenomenon present in all human beings. The psychopathological phenomena of everyday life, although trivial from a practical point of view, are theoretically important because they show the intrusion of unconscious intentions into our everyday and supposedly normal behavior. Even more theoretically important are dreams. For dreams, also normal phenomena, exhibit in detail not only the existence of the unconscious but also the dynamics of its repression, the dream censorship. But since the same dynamics of repression explain neurotic symptoms, and since the dreams of neurotics, which are clues to the meaning of their symptoms, differ neither in structure nor in content from the dreams of normal people, the conclusion is that a dream is itself a neurotic symptom. 10. We are all therefore neurotic. At least dreams show that the difference between neurosis and health prevails only by day, and since the psychopathology of everyday life exhibits the same dynamics, even the waking life of the healthy man is pervaded by innumerable symptom formations. Between normality and abnormality there is no qualitative but only a quantitative difference, based largely on the practical question of whether a neurosis is serious enough to incapacitate us for work. 11. Or perhaps we are closer to the Freudian point of view if we give a more paradoxical formulation. The difference between neurotic and healthy is only that the healthy have a socially usual form of neurosis. At any rate, to quote a more technical and cautious formulation of the same theorem, Freud says that from the study of dreams we learn that the neuroses make use of a mechanism already in existence as a normal part of our psychic structure, not of one that is newly created by some morbid disturbance or other. 12. Thus Freud's first paradox, the existence of a repressed unconscious, necessarily implies the second and even more significant paradox, the universal neurosis of mankind. Here is the Pons assi norm of psychoanalysis. Neurosis is not an occasional aberration. It is not just in other people. It is in us, and in us all the time. It is in the psychoanalyst. Freud discovered the Oedipus complex, which he regarded as the root of all neurosis, by self-analysis. The interpretation of dreams is one of the great applications and extensions of the Socratic maxim, know thyself. Or, to put it another way, the doctrine of the universal neurosis of mankind is the psychoanalytical analog of the theological doctrine of original sin. The crucial point in Freud's basic hypothesis is the existence of psychic conflict. The hypothesis cannot be meaningfully formulated without some further specification of the nature of the conflict and conflicting forces. Now Freud made repeated analyses of the fundamental psychic conflict, at several different levels and from several points of view.